Me, people under the age of 30, I don't really have a lot of value in your opinion. Yeah. Whenever you're paying your own bills and shit,
Come talk to me when you've
maybe I'll
lived a
listen to
little
what you have
bit.
to say.
Welcome to the Blue Lounge Podcast. Come spend some time in our idiocy and feel better about yourself. Let's get started.
My sister's gay.
My sister's gay. I get a pass.
And my daughter's gay.
I know gay people. I get a pass.
I know gay people. I know them personally.
I'm friends with them, damn it. I am a gay people, and I say,
I think.
Isn't
Shit,
Taylor's
I don't know.
Taylor's girlfriend a they them?
I don't know.
I think originally
I
she
think
said she was, but I
To
don't.
me, people under the age of 30, I don't really have a lot of value in your opinion. Yeah. Whenever you're paying your own bills and shit, then
Come talk to me when you've
maybe I'll
lived a
listen to
little
what you have
bit.
to say.
You're just a little too idealistic and
Right.
small-minded at the moment.
Yeah,
I like those.
you don't know what you don't know right now, so
Talk
just
to
shut the
me when
fuck
you
up.
understand reality.
I like those jokes where the person's buying like a sandwich or whatever, and they're like, they keep getting called a she or whatever, and they argue with the cashier, I'm not a she, I'm a they them. And the cashiers originally told them that it was $9 for she,
Right.
and then she's, I'm a they them, and then they're like, it'll be $18, and they're like, what changed? What the hell? You just said it was
'Cause you're
$9,
two
and he was
people.
like, for she it's $9, for they it's $18.
Because you're two people.
Now all of a sudden she's like, what do you mean they? There's not a second person.
Right.
Hey,
It's
I
like,
remember him. I remember him.
I do too.
Plural.
I remember English class telling me that I could use him if him if you don't know what the gender is, but people get pissed about that too.
It's a pronoun. It's our speech to talk about someone else, and so by proxy, you're not necessarily that other person is not necessarily even involved in the conversation. So if I'm talking about you, I can say whatever I want to refer to you because it's my speech. Now, if you're present, I can't imagine, maybe there, I just can't draw it off the top of my head, but I can't imagine in your presence that I would ever refer to you as he or her because I'm talking to you. I wouldn't say, does he or does her or does Zim want some soda?
It's when you're
No.
talking about that
It's when you're
person
talking
to
about
someone
them.
else.
Right.
Or it's when you're trying to be polite and be like ma'am or sir.
Right.
What is the politeness for they?
I don't know. So I guess today,
Because it doesn't exist.
so I guess this episode's about transgenders.
All right, I got that too. Just need to change. Just need to change.
If we had a third microphone, we have someone else that could be a part of the show.
No.
But
I don't know that I'd be any help. I would
We-
further complicate matters. And never shut up.
she's feeling pretty good, and she's talkative.
Let's get her drunk and then let's have her talk about it.
Oh no, that's not funny.
What?
That's sad.
You're very talkative when you've had
I know,
alcohol.
and then I apologize to people the next day. You can't apologize to people after a podcast.
Yeah, you can.
We'll just put it in the description.
So sorry.
She's
I
so
got that.
sorry.
I realized
All-
I'm just as tipsy as I want to be, and I stopped drinking. It's way too late.
All two people that have watched it, you can apologize to both of them.
That's right. We'll just put it in the description. She says she's sorry if you're offended or about talking too much, even though it's a podcast and you're supposed to talk.
And we're not talking about you. We're talking about generalities. So if you get offended by what's being said, it's not about you. Shut the fuck up.
Oh yeah, transgenders. Okay, so my question is, everybody's up in arms about male to female playing in women's sports, right?
Okay.
So that's a originally born dude transition to a chick.
Mm-hmm.
So they're up in arms about that, and there was a soccer team in England that beat another soccer team, and one of the girls got hurt because one of the persons on the other team was transgender, and none of the following teams wanted to play this team, right? My question is, don't they always get hurt playing? So I'm like, can't like a regular cisgendered female hurt a cisgendered female in
Right. The
soccer
possibility to get
and it
hurt
still be the
exists
same?
regardless of which gender is on the field.
Yeah, like was it some extraordinary injury that this person did, that this transgender
That's specifically
person
because he has a wiener.
did?
Hmm.
Does he have a wiener? I don't know. Maybe he she.
Maybe
Sorry.
they got it
Maybe
chopped off.
maybe she got it chopped off. Who knows?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not judging.
But yeah, so I don't understand that. For one.
So biologically, we know that testosterone promotes muscle growth, promotes bone density. So we know already that biologically a male would have a higher strength threshold and a higher than a biological female.
Yeah.
And performance enhancing drugs are already against the rules in every sport.
Yeah.
So
well, from what I understand, testosterone after when you hit puberty and you're flooded with your testosterone, it you get more muscle mass, denser bones. You apparently have more lung capacity and more
we know all these things.
More heart pumpage, so more blood running through faster or whatever. So they say that those are all advantages, and I would agree. Let's face it, men and women are not created equal. We're not equal in a lot of things.
But to me, that's the beauty of the relationship, right? Is because I don't, as a man, I don't want to date somebody who can do the things that I can do because I can do them. I don't need you to do them. I want to be in a relationship with somebody who can or is willing to do the things that I can or won't do.
Yeah, if you think about it, just in our general nature, women are nurturing and less physical. Men are more physical, like hunter gatherers versus
So I was watching
gatherers.
I was watching another podcast. I can't remember it off the top of my head right now, but he's talking about how it was documented that boys and girls that play have different styles of play. Boys, when they play, tend to play team sports. Somebody's the captain. There's clear objectives.
I saw that they work more on a hierarchy.
They
where
work more
women
on a hierarchy,
don't.
right? And that he went on to say that when women were playing or when girls were playing, that when there was a discrepancy or a conflict in the game
everything
stopped.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, that can happen in with boys that play too. But boys that play, we generally, I feel, would try to resolve it. Like I don't.
Well, yeah, because if you're doing your hierarchy, you're gonna look to your captains and be like, "What the hell?" Or like an officiating type person, someone that is more objective.
Or we do a toss up or another.
Yeah. You find a way to resolve whatever it is.
So I used to play street ball when I was younger, and whenever there was a conflict in the game, it was always let's shoot for it. So then you go out to the 3-point line, you pick somebody to shoot the shot, and if he makes it, y'all won the argument. You won the argument. If he misses it, the other team won the argument. They get the ball. We shoot for it.
Makes sense. So why doesn't anybody ever get angry about the female to male being in men's sports? Is it just because men don't care, or they don't think that they can compete, or
has there been many instances of females in men's sports other than like place kickers in football?
I don't know. So whenever I was looking into this, I saw that apparently there was a military study of female to males outperforming actually their male counterparts in things like sit-ups and push-ups and things like that.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. And you could presume that it's because they take testosterone.
Was that an age-based thing?
I don't know. I didn't go in depth into whatever the study was.
Because I remember when we were younger that we always talked about how young girls and young boys, that girls were usually stronger than boys because they develop in the beginning stages of their youth a little faster than boys do. But then when puberty hits is when it starts to shift. So the girls in elementary school used to beat up on the boys because they could, and then after elementary school, that kind of stops, like
Yeah.
because the
Yeah.
gap widens. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's anecdotal, but
So going on, so the most recently in the news there was that swimmer, the collegiate swimmer,
that
male to female,
yeah,
Leah Thompson, whatever.
yeah,
So everybody was up in arms about her being able to perform or play or participate in the female swimming competitions. When I looked into it, because I thought, well, that doesn't seem right, because men have
Well,
more
when you
lung
see her on the podium,
capacity,
she's twice the size of everybody else on the stage.
and if men have more lung capacity with puberty, then you would think, yeah, of course, she would outperform female
Right.
counterparts. From what I saw, someone said that she was like 10 seconds behind the best male swimmer, and then whenever she switched over to female, she was 10 seconds behind the
Well, yeah.
best female swimmer.
To steal a joke from my man Dave Chappelle, let's just have LeBron go down to the WNBA for a while.
Now, see, that brings up
Or he would proceed to score 200 points a game.
that brings up a movie, because okay, I'm
Joanna
okay.
Man.
No, that is funny though. But because if if transgender is on the hormones, right? So they've
Right.
switched, not taking testosterone, or they're not they don't have their testosterone or as much testosterone. They're on female hormones, right? That after a year, their testosterone is low enough to where their performance is less, but still better than females. And then after 2 years, it's closer to the way a biologically born female would work. So, with that in mind, I don't know why someone after 2 years of hormones can't participate, but anyhow, so that brought up there's a movie that the Daily Wire is doing about men and women's sports, because what you were saying is just basically if you decided you wanted to play in a woman's sport, you could just say you're gender fluid and you're participating as a woman in the female sports, yet you're still completely male with
Right.
your facial hair and everything.
I think
And
there
then
was
you
a
just
South Park episode about this.
and then you just go play basketball, football, whatever with other females. Yeah, that of course you have
Who was it?
an
Macho,
advantage.
Macho Man Randy Savage was it Randy Savage they were making fun of in South Park?
I think Daily Wire called the movie Lady Ballers. It looks hilarious. I may have to
Well, there was
subscribe just to watch
there
it.
was that dude. There's that dude. I think he's in Vegas or whatever that offered up $1 million of his own money to have a WNBA team play
the best high school
boys
team. I think that's rude for one, because I think they should be able to beat a high school team. I think
put your money where your mouth is.
I think he should say a college team, male college team.
So I think it's interesting that you bring that up, because there was this. I don't know if you've seen it.
I feel like it's offensive to say high school, because I feel like
the
that's
Australian
really low.
women's soccer team lost to a group of 12th grade boys or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I mean, to me, it's just the same thing. We're just having high school boys take on a women's team and see how they do.
I guess the soccer team was a professional.
So I guess the question, the reason why I wonder what people's adversity is to this particular topic is, like, why, if you want so much to prove that you can compete, then why is this not an actual conversation? Because if you say that men and women are equal in sports and all these things are then what's the harm in having them play? Because if you're on the fence that they're the same, if your side is that they're the same, then they will handily beat the 12th grade boys team, and everybody has to at least admit for this particular instance that you're right. I think the reason why people don't want to say that it's unfair or that it's a bad conversation is because what if the boys beat them, and then you have to admit that they're not the same. The negative side of the argument's only on one side.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I feel like a professional basketball team should be able to beat a high school team.
Okay.
I would
I
say.
don't see why you wouldn't. Why
But I
you
would also
wouldn't be
say
right.
that I would also say that about soccer, but yet not, because
Well, so
soccer's a very different sport.
so what's that thing about 10,000 hours? So they have more time invested in their craft, so they
It's
should
true.
mechanically be better at it. So they have more time invested in it based on the fact that they are professional basketball players. They've achieved this level of status in a game where the boys haven't. They haven't had as much time to invest in it. So I lost my train of thought completely because I was trying to explain my position.
Goober.
It happens sometimes. Let me get some more memory juice. Some more memory juice.
But I feel like the argument should be, if a male to female transgender wants to play in female sports, they should be allowed to, if they've been on their hormones for a year, 2 years, something like that. You can't, because
So
let's be truthful, you can't be just a male like you with no hormones at all, and you can't go and
right.
wrestle with
So let's make
female
so let's
wrestler.
make this stipulation then, at least for the time being, until we get some more data points under our belt in our experiment. Right. I'm talking about as a society, not you and I.
Yeah.
So allow them to play against each other in non-contact sports, and specifically non-combat sports. So like MMA and wrestling.
Wrestling, yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like physical sports, I feel like you should have to wait. And if you're that into playing it, you can wait 2 years.
Right.
Or you can play in like a different league that allows it. But having a male to female transgender person play a sport without being on anything, just full male, whatever,
Right.
they're going to outperform.
I think as a general rule, though, this is one of the conversations that we get into the weeds about, that most of the country doesn't actually give a shit about. Like you and I on a daily basis, this transgender or transitional people in sports is not a conversation that we're having when we're at work or when we're having dinner with our family. Like this is only a conversation in the media. This is only
yeah. And like I said, why isn't anything on the converse side with men? Why aren't men pitching a bitch when there's a female to male doing whatever?
Well, I think there's several reasons for that. One of them being that I think as a man that feminism has pushed men into, we're not allowed to say anything. We're not allowed to have opinions about things women care about.
Okay, put it this way. If a female to male was playing basketball against you and beat you, would you be bitter about it?
At this stage of my life, no.
Because let's face it, I feel like if someone beats someone else in a sport, like if a female to male played another dude, then it's just who's the better sportsman. Like
now rewind the clock to when I was actually an athlete and actually playing sports. I mean,
would you have been better about it as a teenager or whatever?
I think it depends on the situation, because I was never good enough to be like college level basketball. I knew I wasn't, so by default there's definitely people like you play college level basketball, you're already, at least in an organizational sense, better at basketball than I am. And yes, if I was playing basketball out on the court and that chick from Iowa, I can't remember her name right now, Caitlin Clark, I think is her name, she'd probably stomp a mud hole in my ass. Like I couldn't do anything about it. But I wouldn't be mad about it. Back then, I played just for the love of the game. I think that in order to get to that level of any sport, you already have a super or a more competitive mindset than
that's true,
than you or I have.
Yeah, and I guess you're talking about elite athletes,
right? To get to that level, that's dedication, and
elite athletes are going to be able to beat the layperson,
right?
The majority of the time.
So speaking of that, I would say that probably the best I'd ever been at basketball in my life, I was probably, let's say, 18 years old. And I was out at a gym one day, and I was playing against some guy that he was on the summer pro team for the Charlotte Hornets. He's not even good enough to be in the NBA, but he's on the summer pro team. And him playing against me playing one-on-one with him, it was clear that this dude's a professional level basketball player. And I'm just some guy that plays street ball. I might have scored a couple of points on him, but let's be fair. Like, he might have gave
He
it
may
to
have
me.
let you. He's like, I can't just walk all over him. I gotta give him something.
Yeah. I gotta give him something so he'll keep playing.
Well, and as a guy, generally it wouldn't rub you to lose a game if the person's genuinely better than you. You'd be like, okay, good game, whatever.
Right,
But the thing that rubs you guys is if your friends found out you lost to a female to male, a girl, they would probably rib you, and that's what would
yeah, I see
would
what you're
make you
saying. I
guys
see what you're
angry.
saying with people who have that competitiveness. Yeah.
Yeah, you're supposed to be like, well, maybe put yourself in the mindset. I don't have the mindset of an elite athlete, so I don't know that I could ever put
No.
myself in that position. You want to know what also bugs me is
I'm sure you're going to tell me.
I am actually, but what also bugs me is the U, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, whatever all the initials are.
Yeah. Whatever 27 letters we're using today.
Yeah, the gay people.
I thought the plus was just supposed to include everything else.
It
Like, why can't we
was.
just go back to using the
It
plus?
was. It was. I don't know. I don't.
So, as a member of the
I'm a terrible gay. Is all I'm saying.
LMNOP plus community, as a member of that community, do you condone the use of, or do you like the use of additional letters to describe people?
I feel like LGBTQ plus covered it, but they don't want to leave anybody out because.
But the plus is supposed to cover it.
I agree, or just say. I don't know.
Because realistically,
really.
all the rest
go to
of them
Pride or
are
anything.
all the rest of the categories are encompassed by those original letters, right? So
Yeah.
So you're
Well,
you're
what is
either
it?
lesbian,
Lesbian, trans,
gay.
queer.
Q was queer,
Mhm.
queer or questioning, one of them.
Oh shit.
I think it's questioning.
That's so hilarious that you're schooling me on this and I'm the gay
LGBT.
person.
And then there was an I. I don't know what the
I don't know
I
what the
was.
I is.
Right.
Oh, intersexed. I think I now. The I is on there and it is intersex.
Then what's A? Asexual.
People that just aren't sexual beings. That's what the asexual is.
Asexuals. Yeah.
The asexuals are the non-sexual people.
Yeah. So they were hermaphrodites when we were little, and then genetically you have the XXYs.
Hermaphrodites. I've watched those horror stories of the parents because at birth, for some reason, doctors make parents choose one or the other. And generally, the parents end up choosing wrong. They'll say, well, let's make him a boy. And so now they raise him as a boy, and he's
actually a girl.
he feels female and does everything female.
But if that's the conversation that we're having, that they were born with both,
Yeah,
limbs,
that's different.
right? Then I don't have a problem with saying that you need to address me as he, she. In a personal situation, I'll address you however you want me to address you.
Yeah, except for they. I really have a problem saying
calling
they.
you they. I'm
I
not calling
really,
a
really
single.
have
I'm
a
not
problem.
calling a single entity a plural word.
Yeah,
It's just not happening.
I'll just say, hey, you.
Yeah, I'll just say. Yeah.
I'll just call you by your name, damn it.
We'll go over there.
I will say I am a super, super terrible gay and possibly a terrible person. I don't think I'm a terrible person, but we have a friend who is transgender, and every time I've gone to play games at a friend's house and they're there, every time I call him, her, and I generally, this last time I started calling him by his actual name or his new name rather than the name he was born with. And I feel like shit every time I leave. I'm like, fuck, I did it again.
I mean, I think.
And it's not a person I hang out with a whole lot, which is also part of the problem. But I do feel bad every time. I'm like, God, I'm such a terrible gay.
It's just a conversation, right? I'm sorry, I'm not doing it on purpose. It's old habits die hard.
Thankfully, he's never told me he's offended by it or
Well,
anything.
so do you just wait for him to tell you that he has a problem with it?
No, I try to do better because I know he wants to be a he, and he.
Right.
Yeah, I
I don't think there's
Oops.
anything wrong with a preemptive. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it on purpose.
every time I would be like, no, it's hers. It's her turn. I'm like, fuck, not that. You would think I'd be able to remember after I'm offended by the first time I do it. I'm like, fuck. You'd think I would remember, but I don't. Anyhow, what I was about to say about the LGBTQI,
That you're a bad gay.
I am a bad gay. I'm so. I don't go to Pride. I don't claim the LGBTQ ABC because they're just a little
And this
too.
coming from an elder L.
Because they're just a little too extreme these days. So anyway, so we're supposed to be all inclusive, right?
I think
Well-
that it's signs that we don't have enough problems.
We're supposed to be an all-inclusive community, but they get all kinds of offended when you bring up people that are detransitioning.
Right. Yeah.
And
You're
all
not
of a
allowed
sudden, no, we're not talking about that. Those people don't count, and it's such a small percentage, but they should count because they have a voice too.
Right. You're not allowed to go against the cult.
Yeah, I feel real bad for the people that detransition because, like, they have to find support within themselves because the community you were just a part of is.
It can be anything you want as long as it's not that, right?
Yeah, you can do what you want, just don't do that. You can't tell people that you're not boy, whatever, that you're detransitioning because, you know, we can't put that into the narrative. And it's no, they deserve a voice. Just 1% of transgender people that detransition, which I feel like is a low percentage, and they should be given a voice. I feel like you can't ignore that is a thing that happens, if that makes sense.
I agree.
Thank you for our rant on transgender. That was not what this was originally going to be about.
Yeah, that's not what was on the board over there.
Thanks for listening. We're Phaleon and Binks of the Blue Lounge Podcast. That's our show, and thank you for spending time with us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Until next time.